Hello UT and hello the world, I'm your host, Andrew Rosas. Social media has connected us in incredible ways and allowed us to do some amazing things like organize political movements and stay on top of news as it breaks. It's also allowed for some disastrous things like organizing political movements and accidentally liking an ex-girlfriend's photo from 2 years ago. But one thing that's been unprecedented in the last 8 years is the president's connection to the American people through social media. Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram have all helped Obama become known as the first social media president. He and his administration have created a ton of social content and metadata that now could just be left to languish in the digital ether, like your sad high school live journal. But thanks to UT and the Information School, all this data is being archived, preserved, and studied. And here to tell us more about this massive project is Amelia Acker, assistant professor at the iSchool. So how did this presidential social media archive initiative happen?
In October, the White House announced their plan for the digital transition for the 44th administration to the 45th. And President Obama is seen as the first social media president. He has a lot of different accounts, and so does the White House itself, across a lot of different platforms. Things like Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Vine, and so on. And at that time, they challenged the public to come up with different ways to use the social media data archive and to come up with innovative, weird ways of using this data. And they opened the call to all kinds of folks, artists, students, researchers. And so I pitched an idea to teach with the data. I'm teaching a metadata course. And I thought it would be really cool to take this data and to learn the fundamental theories and secondary use applications of metadata with it.
Analyzing all this information across multiple platforms has to be quite the undertaking, considering it's a bunch of ones and zeros, which is how our new president describes people he doesn't like. So what's contained inside this archive?
Right now it's tweets from the POTUS account, the FLOTUS account, and the White House account, and then all the Facebook posts for the White House over the last 8 or 9 years, and then other things like Vine.
Thanks, Obama.
So we have all the Vines. We're still working on getting at some of the longer tail data, things like the MySpace account, Foursquare. Stuff like Pinterest and Flickr are already available, and we're waiting for YouTube.
So what does this data tell us about how the office of the president interacts with the public?
Communication scholars and people who study civic engagement have noted for a really long time that with every new broadcast technology, presidents have interacted with their publics, with their constituents in different ways. So the way that we listen to administrations on the radio, TV, has changed the way that we think of our presidents, the way that we understand them as figures in our lives, and also the way that we can talk back to them or the way that they represent us. And with social media, it has this other layer of interacting with our government or our president that involves sort of real-time access, which is different than maybe a letter would have been, in the last couple administrations.
So how will this archive change, and how will teaching change with this new presidential administration?
In the digital transition, they talked about what they're actually going to do. And they're going to do something really, really wacky. I think it's really interesting, and it's going to be a challenge for archivists, but also for historians and everyday folks, which is with the new president-elect and with the new White House administration, they're going to give them that handle, right? So the real Donald Trump will now have access to the @POTUS. Those accounts are going to keep all the followers, the existing followers that they have, but they're going to set it back to 0. I'm super interested to see what our president-elect is going to do, because he has many thousands of tweets on his account right now, right? And what will it mean to go back to 0 on an @POTUS handle? And that sort of authenticity or context or restarting, that digital transition moment, is something we've never really seen before. And it's just really weird and interesting.
I'm really interested to see how students will learn from this information, and if they can finally stop hiding Snapchat behind their textbooks. So how will this archive be used to teach in the coming year?
One of the things that we're trying to do as digital archivists or data stewards is thinking about how to provide access to those things in a clear and easy way. And we still actually don't have ways of connecting like with like across those platforms, if that makes sense. And so that's one of the things I'm really excited about teaching with, is that how do you connect a Facebook post with a tweet with a Pinterest post or pin, right? And how does that make sense? How would you do that? How would you provide and serve that up? You know, we have about 200 years of providing access to similar kinds of books, right? Or similar kinds of manuscript collections. We still don't know how we're going to do that with like tweets and Facebook updates yet.
My thanks to Amelia Acker for telling us about the iSchools project and the vast amount of information available to students. Who knows, with this new president's tweets, maybe we'll see some classes like Intro to Clapbacks, Sick Burns 101, or Advanced Theories in Midnight SNL Rants. Hey, if you like this video, why don't you create some metadata for us and share it with your friends, leave a comment. You can like us on Facebook as well. You can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Andrew Rosas and follow the Texas Exes as well. As always, I'm your host, Andrew Rosas, reminding you to stay hooked.